vou trazer o nosso próximo convidado, Thomas Johansen. Acho que ele já está por aí.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing, Thomas?
Very good. How are you doing?
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. So I was just saying in Portuguese that we've switched the languages.
Yes, sorry guys, I'm not so strong in my Portuguese, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think the people can handle it.
That's good. Hey, please do tell me if I'm speaking too fast or too slow or something
Okay,
isn't clear. I'm
perfect.
happy to stop and explain. And let me just try and share my screen here. All right, let me see. We want that one, I think. Let me know if you're able to see it. Looks like it's working.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just tell people a
Please.
couple more things in
Yep.
português. Então, como a gente mudou de língua, eu vou pedir para vocês, se vocês quiserem, podem escrever as perguntas em inglês, podem escrever em português também, mas de preferência em inglês, que daí a gente consegue falar certinho. Mas em português, tranquilo, a gente pode traduzir as perguntas também. Então eu vou introduzir o nosso convidado de hoje, ele vai falar um pouco sobre a Thompson Rivers University, um pouco mais sobre a instituição, o que ela oferece e as vantagens de estudar nessa universidade. Então, so Thomas, if you could proceed, please.
Sure. Thank you very much, Luca. Hello, everybody. My name is Thomas, and I am with Thompson Rivers University in British Columbia, Canada. So we are let me see if I can get my presentation moving here. Just a little bit about who we are and why I think public university is probably the way you want to go if you can, preferably, I think. And we are a public university, third largest here in the province of British Columbia. We have about 3,500 international students on campus from about 103 countries. And that's a strong Brazilian group here on campus, a strong Latin American group, but you're obviously going to meet lots of Canadians as well. As you can see, we have 14,000 in total, out of which those 3,500 would be international. So you're going to see people basically from all over the world, as well as a strong Canadian environment. What I think a lot of people come to TRU for is really our campus atmosphere and kind of have that campus experience while you are in university. So we have all of our students on this one campus, and just kind of the natural environment around it and the campus atmosphere is just spectacular now that everybody is back on campus. So that's something we're very, very excited about. You have lots of accommodation on campus. You have dormitory options, different levels of kind of amenities, some newer buildings, some older buildings. So there's a little bit of choice there, depending on what kind of budget you're on. And then fantastic sports facilities. So obviously lots of soccer going on, indoor athletics, basketball, aquatic center. All of this is free for you guys or heavily subsidized. So obviously students are taking advantage of that. 12 to 14 restaurants on campus. So whether you want a sandwich or you want to sit down for a real meal, you can do that. And then just easy to get around town, as we have bus service right on campus. You can take the transit system basically right outside your classroom door. So if you're living off campus, that's absolutely possible. So something we're obviously very proud of, and that is our employment outcomes when it comes to our graduates, how well they're doing compared to other universities in the province, whether it's the earnings or the job rate. So as you may know, as a student in Canada, you have some different opportunities when it comes to immigration, potentially afterwards, work after you study, work during your studies. So a couple of opportunities there, I think, that you need to not know if you're going to take advantage of, but nice to know that it's there in case you find well-paying employment or something else in Canada. We are out on the Canadian West Coast, out in the province of British Columbia. And the reason why I think you want to be on the Canadian West Coast is predominantly the climate. So it's quite a bit milder. Sorry, I had a bunch of stuff going on there. Let me just close that down. So that stops happening. is the climate out here. So summers are very long, very hot, and then you're going to have quite a bit milder climate in the winter as well. So obviously that's something you want to consider when you're moving up to Canada, is what this winter is going to look like. And you're probably not going to find it, or you're not going to find it any milder than you would in the province of British Columbia. Nice and easy to get here, either over Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, Edmonton as well. So we are a little bit of a smaller center, which I think is a nice thing if you want to get a more of a Canadian experience, get away from some of the bigger cities like Toronto and Vancouver, while you still have Vancouver down the road, 3 to 4 hours by car. A couple of shots from in and around town here. A little bit about industries here and kind of what you can expect when it comes to finding employment. So obviously, when you want to go and find that first part-time job, it's nice to know that there are opportunities, and I think there is, and lots of our students are working, helping out pay some of their tuition, pay some of their living cost. We also have an extensive co-op program, so those are paid internships while you're in your program, which is something a lot of international students have taken advantage of, as this allows you to be a little bit more prepared to hit the job market potentially once you're done. So for most of our Latin American, Brazilian students, we're looking at undergraduate level. We're looking at bachelor levels in particular, doing your sciences, doing your business, doing your arts programs, your psychology, your political science, and so on. So that would be a 4-year degree. And most of our degrees are what we call open admission. So we can help you if you land a little bit lower in your English. Usually it's a 6.5 IELTS, 88 TOEFL, or a 110 on a Duolingo test. We can help you out through our ESL program. We can also help you out if you're missing any kind of grade 12 courses. So say you're doing a Bachelor of Science, you may not have done grade 12 math, physics, or chemistry. Don't worry too much. We have options for you. For those who are a little bit older and have already finished some some university study, we can look at our master level and we can look at our post-baccalaureate level. About 140 programs on campus currently, and as you can see, they're spread across a good number of faculties there. And I'll just go through them really quickly so you get an idea of what we have on offer. But just to say that we have basically a little bit for everybody. I don't think there's anybody who really can't find what they're looking for with us, unless it's PhDs. First one here will be Faculty Adventure, Culinary Arts, and Tourism. Lots of interesting stuff here. I think your resort experience, your adventure studies, which is big with our Latin American students. You have your festival and events management, culinary arts at the diploma level. So lots of options here. They get a preferential treatment. They get better treatment when it comes to immigration through the provincial nominee program as well, if you are planning on staying in Canada for the long term. So lots of options there for sure. Arts, here we see quite a few in our Bachelor of Arts as well, our Fine Arts, our Journalism program, doing communications, for example, doing theater, doing psychology, doing international relations, doing political science, math and economics. And you have to remember, with Canadian education, it works a bit differently than elsewhere in that you are given quite a bit of flexibility in putting together your own education. So you will be choosing a major, which is kind of your specialization, right? But then you will also have the option to do minors. You will have electives that you can test out different things. And then you have a whole raft of things that go on around it called experiential learning, which allows you to do stuff out of the classroom that either kind of speaks to your interests or speaks to your career aspirations, your career hopes. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. School of Business and Economics as well, whether at the master level. All our environmental programs, I think, are of particular interest, seeing that TRU is North America's third most environmentally sustainable university. So this is something the university itself takes very, very seriously. And I think all of our environmental programs are therefore pretty interesting in that you're seeing a lot of stuff in the classroom, but you're also seeing a lot out of the classroom, kind of around transportation, around energy, around recycling, around a lot of different topics that are very much kind of with the times at this moment. If you have a particular interest within the business area that you know you want to drill down, whether it's accounting, your economics, your finance, and you potentially want to take that all the way to professional designation in the area, chartered professional accountant or something like it, the post-baccalaureate programs are often a very good choice for a kind of career-driven, more mature individual. We have a number of undergrad programs, Bachelor of Business Administration, and then a number of double degrees. So computer science and business and arts and business combined. So 2 full bachelor degrees by the time you've done the program. Our Faculty of Science is increasingly popular, and I think we are offering some very interesting programs here, both at the master and the undergraduate level, whether it's data science, so looking at large quantities of data, making sense of it for a financial institution, making sense of it for, say, a healthcare provider, or a hospital, or provincial health authority. Environmental science as well. So this is more on the hard science side than what we looked at a minute ago. You're going to have a lot of bachelor majors here, your computer science, your ecology and environmental biology. And then computer science and software engineering are really popular as well, especially software engineering with the whole pandemic and whatnot. Obviously, there's a lot of focus on having people with software engineering skills who can provide the the infrastructure for this whole virtual way of doing everything. Any other kind of engineering, you pursue that through an engineering transfer program where you go off to University of British Columbia or University of Victoria for your second, third, or fourth year, or just your third and your fourth year. And obviously UBC is one of the best schools in the world, in Canada for sure. So that's not a bad place to be able to transfer onto afterwards. Lots of health programs as well, whether it's nursing, respiratory therapy, so everything that has to do with your lungs and your breathing, practical nursing as well. So that's a 2-year program. For those who might not be into a longer academic program, you might be able to, I might be interested in pursuing something shorter, hands-on, trades or technology related here. So lots of different options here, very well paid, very high demand professions. Some of these programs have 100% of our graduates hired as soon as they graduate, such as water and wastewater technology. If you're looking at working in education or social work, we have a number of options all the way from 2-year early childhood diplomas, 5-year bachelors of education, and then all the way to a master level, master of education. So if you want to be in a classroom, we're looking at these kind of the bachelor level education, secondary or elementary. Every summer we run a number of programs, and we've been running these ones in person as well. If you kind of want to try out a Canadian education university experience, you could potentially take part in our short-term programs. So these kind of combine your English program, fun cultural activities, as well as a little bit of a elective leadership environment and so on. So you get kind of 3 fun components, plus you get to meet people from all over the world. So this can be done every summer, either 3 or 4 weeks in July and August. So a good way to kind of get a little taste of what university life looks like. So I was talking a little bit about experiential learning earlier, and this is really something I wanna emphasize, because you really have a lot of opportunities here to set yourself apart and kind of create a little bit of a portfolio for yourself when it comes to your career, comes to your personal interests. And one of the really big ones here is the club system on campus. So this is where you can go out and meet people across different faculties, whether they're also interested in the same common interests as you, or they're interested in common academic areas, or potentially along ethnic lines. So you could be going and meeting up with people from all over the world to potentially practice a language. As I mentioned earlier, all of our undergraduate degrees would also have what's called co-op, which is paid internships that are relevant to what you're studying. So if you're studying, say, business, you're studying accounting, you'll be going out with an accounting firm. If you're doing software engineering, you'll be with a software firm. If you're doing tourism, you'll be with a tourism operation. So this is relevant to what you're studying, and it's generally better paid than what you would get just working, part-time, which you also can, but this is full-time work. This is how a bachelor student may plan out their 4 years. So as you can see, the student here is doing 4 summers, May to August. They're doing co-op terms, plus 1 regular semester, January to April. So they're doing the full 16 months of co-op term that they can while they are doing a bachelor degree. We have 3 semesters, September to December, January to April, May to August. So the two first ones there would be the regular academic year, which is really when we need you to be on campus unless you're doing co-op terms, and you need to be doing a minimum of 3 courses per semester. The summer, so that's May to August, you have a lot more freedom. You could be doing co-op terms, you could be doing classes, you could be working full-time, you could be traveling in Canada, you could be doing classes half of the summer and not the other half of the summer. So really a lot of options for you when it comes to the summer, a lot of freedom there. And especially when it comes to going out and finding full-time employment, that's obviously what a lot of domestic Canadian students are doing, as well as international students. So as I mentioned, a student in Canada, when you're a full-time academic student, you're allowed to work on campus and off campus 20 hours in a regular academic year and then 40 hours over the summer break. When you're done a 2-year program, a minimum of a 2-year program, you can then go for a 3-year post-graduation work permit, which is an open work permit, seeing you can take it with you anywhere you want. You can take it with you to Toronto, to Vancouver, stay in Kamloops, stay in British Columbia, wherever it is you may be looking to go. Once you've done a 2-year program at Thompson University, you can then move onwards and potentially go for your permanent residency during that post-graduation work permit, so either provincially or federally. There's going to be a lot of support for you to count on when you're on campus. So your most important person is going to be your international student advisor. So that's the group there on the left-hand side. But you're also going to have an international academic advisor who will be there to help you with everything that has to do with your classes. So the international student advisor is really there to help you with, say, your visa situation, your housing situation, whatever it may be that doesn't have to do with your classes. So lots and lots of support right there from the get-go. And then when you're on campus, you can then start taking part in all the other support services that are available, whether it's academic support, say your math or your writing or whatever it is, or your life and your wellness. So going out, taking part in the sports teams on campus, seeing a doctor on campus, different counseling services, just a lot for you to support you and for you to rely on. A little bit about facilities. So I've already touched a bit on the sports facilities on campus, but amazing library space, study spaces available for you 24/7. So if you want to hit the books, there's lots of great spots for you to do that in and around campus. A good way for you to, get out, see the province of British Columbia, which is a huge province, just unbelievably beautiful. You got the Rocky Mountains and so on, would be what's called the LEAP program. And the LEAP program allows you to do stuff you might not be able to get to without a vehicle, or you might not be able to afford if you're on a student budget. So done really affordably, been made really convenient for students to take part in, whether you want to go skiing or whitewater rafting or mountain biking or go down to Vancouver or whatever it may be. They run programs all throughout the year, a couple of them every week. So a lot to take part in and get to know kind of your fellow students as well that way. As I mentioned earlier, we have a couple of different accommodation options on campus. We have 3 of them on campus, actually. We have the North Tower, East Village, and then the McGill residence. So all of that is available to you. And I think for an undergraduate Latin American student, it splits about 50-50. Half would be on campus to start with. The other half would be in a homestay placement. So a homestay placement is where you stay with a Canadian family. You have a bit of a home base. When you're in Canada, you can practice your English. You have somebody to pick you up, show you around town. Just make it a little bit of maybe of an easier landing, especially for a younger individual where you're maybe a little unsure about living abroad by yourself, or your parents maybe. This is often a great place to start out with a homestay placement. But all the on-campus options are great as well. You always have your own room. You have your own bed. You're never sharing your bedroom with any other people. You will be sharing a bathroom with one other person, and then common facility with up to 3 other people. So a little bit about admission here with us, and obviously you can work with your agency here to put in your application. But when it comes to our English, we are looking at a 6.5 IELTS, an 88 TOEFL, or a 100 on a Duolingo test. So for those of you who might not know, Duolingo is a test you can take fully from home. It's fully online. so you don't have to go to the test center if you would rather not. If you land a little bit lower than that, 6.5, say a 6.0, you land in level 5 ESL, so that's English as a second language. And that allows you to do 2 ESL courses and 3 academic courses as well, so you can get going on your academic journey with TRU. You're not stuck just doing ESL. If you're at that level, they'll look at the band where you did a little bit poorer than some of the other ones, and they'll give you courses in that area, and that will take you 1 semester, and then you move on to the full program. So I think that's pretty convenient, and you're still going on your regular academic journey. So obviously we can help you down through the rungs here. So we've just passed the application deadline here for January of 2022. Next up would then be summer of 2022, and then after that, fall of 2022. And we'll work with your agency to put in an application. But when we have the full documentation packets of your previous study, your transcript, your certificate, both in English and your originals, as well as an English test if it's available, then we can usually turn around an answer to you pretty quickly, 5 to 10 business days. For most of our undergrad and post-baccalaureate programs, while we're talking a little bit longer for our master programs as they have to go to a graduate committee. To give you a little bit of an overview of what tuition is, so for English, bachelor or undergrad and post-baccalaureate, it's a pretty flat fee for all of our programs, while most of our master programs, or all of our master programs, follow a separate cost structure. So pretty straightforward to see when you're undergraduate or post-bac, but take a second to look at the master level and see what fits you guys. Outside of that, there's going to be some other expenses. So that's going to be your housing cost. That's going to be your general fees, your medical insurance, extended health and dental. So if you need to go see a doctor, you need to go see a dentist. Personal expenses, groceries and so on. And there's an estimate here, so I think that can come down, that can go up a little bit, really depending on you. And obviously that's before any kind of, employment income or potential entrance scholarships that we can help you find. When it comes to entrance scholarships, we have a number of options, and I think these are the ones that are probably going to fit you guys the best, either the athletic scholarship or academic excellence or exceptional student scholarship. So there's up to 4,000 there for each of them for the first year, while athletic scholarships potentially is all of your tuition taken care of. There are also some program-specific scholarships, either it's engineering or TRU law and international scholarship, which is for those in what's called the Juris Doctor program. If you do want to get in touch and have a little bit more information, please reach out to one of our marketing service representatives. We have these guys from all over the world. I have my own session as well. So use the link on the screen there. We'll be happy to help you guys out. One of them would be Latin America, where you can talk to Andrea, my colleague as well. She looks after Brazil usually. Another great place to have a look would be our social media. So take a look at that at TRU World. So whether that's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or YouTube, or whatever, tons of good material kicking around up there. A lot of it produced by international students, Latin American students among them. So take a look at that, and it's also a good place to keep an eye on here during COVID, just to make sure you have you don't miss any of the most recent announcements. So when it comes to COVID, just so you guys know, we have been virtual. So all classes have been virtual up until a couple months ago. But now 99% of our students are back on campus doing courses face to face, and it's working out pretty nicely. And it's something everybody has been very excited about getting back to, seeing that not everybody enjoyed being at home doing virtual as much as some other ones. So everybody's happy to be back, and I foresee that to happen, obviously, going forward with the with like proper safety mechanisms in place, so that everybody's safe, both you guys and the teaching staff and everybody else. So that's all good for now. That's it for me. if you guys have questions, I would be more than happy to answer. So Luca, did we get any questions here?
Yeah, we actually do. We have a couple of comments too.
Great.
They're saying the campus is really beautiful. All of that looks really amazing.
That's great.
But we have some questions too.
Please.
Gabriel asked if how can I know more about the current projects in the School of Business and Economics? If you could tell
Current
a bit more.
projects, so like current the programs, I imagine he's talking about. Yeah, so it depends on
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah, how if you have already gone to school, if you've already gone to university, then you'll be looking at our master level programs, and I could just quickly skip back here so you can follow along. Give me one sec. So there we have the Master of Business Administration, which is an obvious program that is recognized anywhere around the world, right? If you have an MBA, there's something everybody instinctively understand. Otherwise, I would recommend that you're looking at maybe some of our post-baccalaureate programs if you want to specialize in human resource management. Supply chain management is very popular these days, and I guess that has a lot to do with what's going on in the world. International business always popular, marketing as well. So if you're looking at the master level, these would be great options. The MBA is obviously pretty competitive, so you need to kind of hit all the points in the admission process, which is a high GPA, so 3.0 or above, and then they need an IELTS of 7.0 or 96 TOEFL for you to sneak into that program. If you're looking at the bachelor area, we have our main one would be the Bachelor of Business Administration. Again, same majors here, and both of them, both the post-bac and the Bachelor of Business Administration, as I mentioned, you can take that to the professional designation, so Chartered Professional Accountant, for example, in the accounting area. So obviously looking very good once you're going to go out and find employment. The double degrees as well, great options, business and computer science combined. Very neat combination there, and an arts and business combined as well. So I hope that answered your question. Please leave another question if you want more detail.
Yeah, and Thomas will be on the booths, and you could also go and ask him personally.
Yep.
Mariana asked if you could tell a bit more about the medicine course, about the health course.
Yeah, so a couple of different things here, depending on what you want to do. So the first one would be the pre-professional health science. So that is what we call a pre-med here in Canada for people who want to go on to eventually do medical school. We don't have a medical school, but that's okay because first you need a pre-med and then you go on to medical school. Now, keep in mind, all the medical programs are going to be very competitive for international students. So you have to be doing very well. Pre-professional health science will give you that bachelor degree that you need to take on to medical school in the future. What you obviously can do is you stay in Canada after your program and become a permanent resident, and then you're applying for medical school with everybody else, right? Then you're competing against a much bigger pool of people. All of the other ones, and we have amazing medical facilities here. We have brand new $40 million medical facility, are also relatively competitive. So Master of Nursing, you need to be a licensed practicing nurse in your home country. Bachelor of Nursing, we can only take in a handful of international students, and it's pretty competitive on top of that. Respiratory therapy as well, competitive. Practical nursing is probably the one where you have the best options. It starts every 2 years. The next one will be September of 2022. A 2-year program, high demand profession, practical nursing. So yeah, if you're interested in healthcare, I think that's your best shot. And then you can then move on from there, potentially down the road to do a Bachelor of Nursing if that's what you want.
Perfect. I guess that's it then, Thomas. We
Okay,
appreciate you coming.
for sure.
I think it was really rich,
Very good.
and I hope you have great rest of the fair, and hopefully some Brazilian students will be joining Thompson River soon.
Let's hope so. Well, thank you very much for having me, and thank you for everybody who sat in, and thank you for the questions. It's been great.
Perfect. Thank you.
All righty. See ya.